This is the Nitrotech review of the Samsung Galaxy Ace. This is a mid-range smartphone and available at the moment in New Zealand on Vodafone. So looking at the device, it's a 3.5-inch screen on this particular device with one button at the bottom, a hardware button. You've got two capacitive buttons either side when you wake it up as well. One's a menu button and the other one back button. As we take a look around the phone, you'll see that on this side is the power button. Usually you see the power button on the top on phones, not on this device. It's on the side. You can access the micro SD card from the side as well. It's under a little cover there. You'll see that it's a metal bezel around the device. On the bottom is the microphone. On this side is the volume rocker, and on the top is the 3.5mm jack and USB, micro USB connector. On the back you see that there's the speaker and a flash, and also a 5-megapixel camera in there as well. So all in all, it's a nice looking device, and yeah, I've heard it before, a lot of people saying it looks very much like an iPhone, and I guess that's the battle that Samsung's having with Apple at the moment. A lot of their devices do look kind of similar. So let's wake it up and have a look at the hardware and some of the software functions on this device. First of all, it's an 800 MHz processor, and one of the good things about an 800 MHz processor, as opposed to some of the smaller devices that have got 500 to 600 MHz processors, is this actually feels quite snappy. I liked the Galaxy 5, which was a smaller device and available on Telecom. It was quite a snappy sort of device as well, but this takes it just to another level. It's nice and smooth as you go through the different screens, the different Android screens. You bring up the app drawer, and you'll see that this is the standard kind of Samsung look, where you scroll through the app drawer to the side rather than up and down as you do on stock standard 2.2. So it does have 2.2 on board, it doesn't have 2.3. Maybe there'll be an update for it, maybe there won't. You see some of the sort of standard looking features that Samsung add to their devices. This is the TouchWiz interface that's been added to it, so things like the dialer does look quite a little bit different to what you would normally see on just a stock standard kind of device, but keeping with the Android theme, obviously. The contacts work the same as pretty much everything else. Email, you've just got the standard email client that you normally have on Android 2.2, and that works perfectly well. As we go into the market on this device, of course, the third revision of the market has come out, but this is sitting on the second revision. Whether it'll get the update, I don't know, but certainly it's sitting on that type of market rather than the new market, which has the movies and bits and pieces on it as well. The browser is also just your stock standard kind of Android browser, and this is really where the disappointing part of the phone comes in. Unfortunately, with this particular device, it does have an 800 MHz processor and it does have 2.2 Android on it. What you're going to find, though, unfortunately, is that it does not do Flash in the browser. It does not have the hardware capabilities. The processor is an older processor that unfortunately does not have Flash support. So even though you think you might get Flash with it, with its hardware specs, unfortunately it will not. So we'll compare it with some other devices for you a little bit later. Some of the other functions that you get with the phone, obviously, the camera. The camera's kind of important, obviously. When you take a picture with this device, it looks not too bad. The quality of the picture is okay, and pretty much what we've seen on a lot of other devices. Where it's let down with its camera functionality, though, is that it only does VGA video, rather than the newer devices which are doing some of that HD video 720 and even up to 1080 high definition as well. So bit of disappointment that its video capabilities and the frames per second are low as well on video. So it's not the phone that you're going to go for if you're shooting a lot of video. Also on this device, the stock standard features that you would expect. You can do the voice control with Android, and in the app drawer it comes with some pre-installed applications that have been provided by the likes of Samsung, but also One of the nice features that you've got with this device is that you can go and use the Wi-Fi tethering. That is available on this device nice and easily as well. So that's a good function of the device, and the portable hotspot does seem to work quite well. So you know, that's definitely an advantage with this device. It's obviously on 2.2, and as I say, one of the things about it is that it does feel quite snappy. So we were quite impressed with the performance of the device. Also, just to mention about the LCD screen, this one has got a screen protector on it. But one of the things that I did notice with the device is, while its resolution isn't as high as what a lot of other devices are, you do notice that it seems to be quite bright. It's reasonably crisp as well, and I think Samsung have done a pretty good job too. It's also a very light device. I noticed in first picking up the device that it did feel a lot lighter than some of the other devices, such as the iPhone and others. It doesn't feel heavy to hold as well. It's a 3.5-inch screen, capacitive touch screen, of course, and all in all, the device itself looks quite nice. It lets itself down though in two different areas, and I've mentioned them already, but they really are the fact that you can't do Flash in the browser, and I think with the Android, that's one of the great things with Android, that you can do Flash in the browser, and you can certainly view some of the on-demand videos that are available. And the other area that of course it lets itself down in is the video, only doing 15 frames per second and only VGA quality as well. So it's not great in terms of its video, but it will take pictures for you okay. So in general, it's quite a nice device. It looks good, it works well, and it's quite snappy also. So if you're looking for a basic sort of Android phone that's going to give you a step up from those budget range devices, but still maybe not get you into the high end, then this could be the device that you're looking at. Samsung's build quality is pretty good, and you know, I like the Samsung devices themselves. They usually produce some pretty good sort of phones, and this one, the Galaxy Ace, is no exception. Just to talk about some of the other phones that are in that kind of bracket, one of the phones that's been talked about alongside of this is the LG P500, and there is a review on the YouTube channel on that device. It's a 3.2-inch screen. It's not as nice, the screen. It also doesn't do Flash, but it does come with a GPS cradle. I would put this device significantly higher than the P500. One of the other devices that unfortunately I did ask 2 Degrees to send me, they decided not to, and that was the Huawei X5. And the X5 kind of sits in the same bracket as this one. It's got a 3.8-inch screen. It's got an 800 megahertz processor, but it does have a newer type of processor and a better graphics capability in it as well. And it will do Flash in the browser. And there is some talk of people overclocking it to 1 gigahertz as well. So you'd really be comparing it with the Huawei device, and this one retails at $599 on Vodafone, and you'll find that the Huawei device retails around that $450 mark on 2 Degrees. There is more functionality to be gained from the Huawei device. However, you know, if you're a Samsung fan, probably you'll want to go with the Galaxy Ace. So all in all, we're pretty happy with this as a mid-range kind of device. It's got a couple of little areas that we're not too impressed with, but other than that, it's Samsung build quality. It looks good, it feels good, and it works well. Could be your next device. That is the Samsung Galaxy Ace.